Hello and welcome to another episode of TEW 2020 WWE. We are back after a blockbuster double pay-per-view special with Halloween Havoc and Extreme Rules, featuring the highest rated show of the save so far and the highest rated match of the show so far. If you haven't seen it, I would implore you to go and watch that now, because it is time for the fallout, and most importantly it's time for the WWE Draft here, and that is how we're kicking things off on Raw. There'll be 3 rounds, one on Raw, one on NXT and one SmackDown, with the first round here on Raw. And with NXT's first pick from winning bragging rights, they select Seth Rollins, a big pick, the first ever NXT champion heading home. What will he be doing on the show? We will find out. And it's followed by Raw's first pick of the draft, Aleister Black from NXT. A huge move from Aleister Black, sadly coming up short in his feud against Andrade, but he has been blockbuster over on NXT, and I'm sure he'll be hoping to continue that here on Monday nights. And then we have SmackDown's first pick in the form of former NXT North American champion Keith Lee, getting his chance to move on from NXT here over to SmackDown. What is the limitless one going to be getting up to on the blue brand? Next up with NXT with their second pick of the night, and they choose Timothy Thatcher, the former hardcore champion. Brutal fighter. I'm sure he'll be looking to leave a trail of destruction in his wake as he moves over to the black and gold brand. And it's followed by Raw selecting Montez Ford over from SmackDown. Montez Ford had a great time on SmackDown since post-Mania, winning the SmackDown tag titles, beating Roman Reigns, coming up just short for the Intercontinental title, and now he'll be moving back to Monday night, looking to make a name for himself and continue his endless pursuit up that ladder of success. And the WWE Draft Night 1 here, concluding with SmackDown with the final pick, choosing the former Women's World Champion, Asuka. Asuka moving over to Friday nights. I'm sure we can all agree we'll be making a big splash in that Women's Universal Championship division. Ripley and Baszler's eyes are on each other, but now they have the Empress of Tomorrow to worry about as well. And it's an 82 for that segment. Huge draft picks here in the first round of the WWE Draft. Big moves. All of these superstars could make big impacts on their respective brands, and I can't wait to see how they all play out. But it's time to begin this episode of Monday Night Raw, and how else would we begin than with your WWE Champion Adam Cole, and of course his UE squad mates, US Champ Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish and Roderick Strong coming out for an 84 here. And Adam Cole is in a bragging mood. Adam Cole celebrating, defeating Daniel Bryan. Says he gave the crowd that 5-star match. He gave him that blockbuster with Daniel Bryan. But in the end, the result was always going to go one way. And as with Adam Cole, Bebe still your WWE champion. Adam Cole said it felt good to finally shut Daniel Bryan up, to prove to Daniel Bryan that Adam Cole is the best in the world. And that is why Adam Cole still stands before you as the top dog, as the WWE champion. That's why the Undisputed Era still have the WWE title and United States title in them, because the Undisputed Era are Monday night for an 84, before Adam Cole is interrupted here by Monday night's newest superstar, Montez Ford, for a 92 here. Montez Ford getting in the ring, the crowd loving him. Adam Cole kind of with this look like, what was this guy doing here? And Montez Ford congratulating Adam Cole on his victory against Daniel Bryan, but says that Adam Cole might not be paying attention, but Montez Ford, he's been fighting, he's been clawing over on SmackDown, he's been moving up, he's been waiting for his chance, and he says that now he's on Monday nights, he's not going to be waiting much longer. And then out of nowhere, a big drop kick into Adam Cole, sending him flying backwards into the Undisputed Era. They all fundle over, all rolling out the ring. Montez, the crowd going crazy. Montez Ford running, bouncing on the rope and jumping over the rope out of the ring, taking out all of the Undisputed Era at ringside, for rolling back in the ring, hyping up the crowd, seeing that dirty title on the floor. And Montez Ford picking up Adam Cole outside the ring, irate at what was happening, as Montez Ford raises the WWE title in the air, a clear message of intent. Montez Ford not going to be waiting around. He wants to go right for the top dog. He wants to go right for the WWE champion, Adam Cole, here on Monday nights for a 91. A strong start to the show here, as afterwards it is announced the main event for tonight, Adam Cole versus Montez Ford one-on-one. Adam Cole wanting a measure of revenge against Montez Ford after that embarrassment he had just given him here to kick things off for an 83. Really good start to the show, really strong start to Raw, post Extreme Rules. Hopefully we can keep that going. As next up storms out Samoa Joe. He is angry. He says he would have beat Kyle O'Reilly. He'd be US champ. He'd be the one going for Adam Cole right now if it wasn't for Matt Riddle. He wants Matt Riddle to come out here right now and face him. But Matt Riddle does not come out. Who comes out? Raw's other newest superstar, Aleister Black, coming out. Aleister Black pissed off after the events of Extreme Rules himself, where he was so close to beating Andrade, becoming Cruiserweight Champion, but he was distracted by Velveteen Dream. He was attacked by Isaiah Swerve Scott, and he looks like he wants a battle, he wants a war, he wants to get some of that aggression out, coming out to challenge Samoa Joe here for a 90. Aleister Black versus Samoa Joe, and Aleister Black picking up the win here with the Black Mass over Samoa Joe for an 81. Good match, 81 for Black, 70 for Joe. Happy with this as Aleister Black gets some of his aggression out and picks up a win here, but still in his mind you gotta think he has picked every kick, every hit, every Black Mass. He is picturing the Velveteen Dream, who seems to keep getting in his way. Next up out comes Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins says that he sees he's going to NXT and he wanted to give the fans here on Monday nights one more look of their Messiah. He says that Monday night is losing its top dog, its top superstar in Seth Rollins, but that's okay, because Seth Rollins will always be in the people's hearts here as their Messiah, as their leader, as their alpha. But then Rollins, quite annoyedly to him, interrupted by Matt Riddle saying, "Bro, it's been real, I'm gonna miss you," and Rollins just slapping Riddle for interrupting him for an 83 here, setting up a match next. Seth Rollins in his final match on Raw here against Matt Riddle, and Seth can't get his fairy tale ending because Matt Riddle picking up a big victory over Seth Rollins here. Seth Rollins setting up for the curb stomp, bouncing off, jumping off Riddle's head, but Riddle getting up and hitting a massive knee onto Seth Rollins, a jumping knee, taking Seth down, picking up the victory here. Matt Riddle, a huge win over Seth Rollins for an 82, 86 from Seth, 80 from Riddle. Very happy with this. Matt Riddle giving Seth Rollins not the send-off he would have been hoping for, but sending him off nonetheless as he picks up a big victory here over the Messiah before his move to NXT. Then out comes the Raw Tag Team Champions, the Kelly Warriors, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, and they taunt the Hardy Boys. They beat them in their own playground of TLC. They retained their Raw Tag Team Champions, and that's because no one can go with the most hard-hitting couple of fellas in WWE history, McIntyre and Sheamus, the Celtic Warriors. And then they are interrupted by Breezango, the former Raw Tag Team Champions, who say the KO Warriors never gave them their shot. They want their chance of redemption. They've been healing up since SummerSlam, and they're ready for a fight. They're ready to prove that they can go toe-to-toe to KO Warriors. KO Warriors kind of laughing off, saying, you know what? We're a bit bored tonight, so let's do it. So for an 83. So next up, Celtic Warriors versus Breezango in tag team action. And the Celtic Warriors do pick up the win here. McIntyre and Sheamus hitting Fandango with the off with your head finisher before McIntyre pins Fandango, and the Celtic Warriors pick up the victory for a 78. Good match. 77 Drew, 67 Sheamus, 58 Tyler, 57 Fandango, and it is Kelly Warriors picking up the win after the match. Kelly Warriors having their fun, attacking Breezango, beating them down even further, when out comes the Viking Raiders to make the save. Ivar and Eric storming down to the ring. The Celtic Warriors ready for a fight, and Viking Raiders giving it to them. And in the end, the Viking Raiders vanquishing the Celtic Warriors from the ring. Celtic Warriors may be tired from the match, but the Viking Raiders end up standing tall in the ring, whilst McIntyre and Sheamus look on from the ramp, and they look angry. These two teams could have an absolute war, and I, for one, am very excited at the potential of that for a 71 here. Good segment work from these guys as we head into the main event. As announced earlier, the WWE Champion Adam Cole taking on Raw's newest superstar, Montez Ford, in one-on-one action. And Montez Ford really giving it to Adam Cole. This match could go either way. Adam Cole in the end seemingly getting a bit tired of it, going at ringside, grabbing his WWE title, going in the ring. The ref there watching, telling him not to, telling him to be DQ'd. Adam Cole setting up to hit Montez Ford with the WWE title as he gets to his feet, when suddenly the music of Kevin Owens hits. Adam Cole like, what? Distracted? But Kevin Owens doesn't come out. Adam Cole coming to, seeing Ford now to his feet, going to him with the WWE title. Ford ducking underneath Cole though, and hitting him with a big drop kick, sending him spiraling before climbing to the top rope and hitting an even bigger frog splash for the 1, 2, 3. out of nowhere in his Raw return, Montez Ford pinning the WWE champion Adam Cole here, following that in part distraction from Kevin Owens. But Adam Cole, can't believe it. A 90 for the match. A brilliant main event from these two. 94 from Adam Cole. Montez Ford gets the 80. Montez Ford's off his game, but still, with that good in-ring performance, helping to a brilliant main event from the pair, as Montez Ford gets a dream start to his Raw return here. After the match, Montez Ford celebrating like crazy his win over Adam Cole, and Adam Cole in the ring, he can't believe it. He's shocked. He is angry at losing to Montez Ford. He is angry at whatever mind games Kevin Owens trying to play. But all that matters here is Montez Ford who ends up victorious for an 83. A very good episode of Raw here post Extreme Rules, keeping that good run going that we've been on. Overall rating of 90. I'm over the moon. It's been brilliant. Graced up hop in 35 regions. 0 complaints from me. And hopefully we can keep this momentum going. We can keep up the good ratings as we head into round 2 of the WWE Draft over on NXT. And NXT getting underway here with the WWE Draft round 2 pick announcements. We start off with NXT, of course, getting the number 1 pick once again. And they select Cesaro. Cesaro bringing his world-class wrestling ability over to the black and gold brand. I'm sure he will be fitting in perfectly here. And that is followed up by Raw making their selection, and they choose Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair, of course, defeated at Halloween Havoc in that Buried Alive match against Portela Muerte, but when she comes back, she will be coming back to Monday nights. And that's followed up by SmackDown selection, and SmackDown choose Raw's Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna Purrazzo, of course, also joined by Chelsea Green and Lana, her little squad mates, and they will be making the move to Friday nights. The SmackDown Women's Division, another big upgrade following Asuka's draft pick in round 1, and then into the second little portion here, NXT selecting Toni Storm from Friday nights. A big upgrade for NXT's Women's Division here, bringing Toni Storm. It is going to be Toni time for the black and gold brand, and that's followed by Monday Night Raw, who select the former NXT Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch losing that last woman standing match to Raquel Gonzalez at Extreme Rules, but she will be moving to Monday nights now, so maybe this is it for Becky Lynch. Maybe she will not be getting that chance for revenge against Gonzalez. And then in the final pick of round 2 of the WWE Draft here, Samoa Joe is chosen to go to Friday nights. Samoa Joe made a dominant return at the last couple months, had his United States title match at Extreme Rules, came up short when Matt Riddle was pinned in the triple threat, but now he will be moving over to Friday nights, and it's an 80 for this opening segment with the draft announcements. A lot of good picks here, a lot of revitalization for Raw, NXT and SmackDown's men and women's divisions respectively. And then into this week's episode of NXT proper, we have the entrance of Chad Gable, the new NXT North American champion, defeated Keith Lee in an amazing matchup at Extreme Rules. He comes down for an 82, he gets on the mic and he has a lot to say. First off, he thanks Keith Lee for such a good matchup. He says he wants to wrestle the best in the world, and Keith Lee is one of them. And Keith Lee gave him a hell of a matchup. But in the end, it was Chad Gable who came out on top. Chad Gable, who won the NXT North American Championship. The crowd cheering, chanting, "You deserve it." Chad Gable thanking them as well. Chad Gable talking about Randy Orton, seeing Randy Orton, somebody he respects and admires so much, who's been training with, be beaten like that by Karrion Kross. It hurt. But well, now Chad Gable has this NXT North American title, and it's November, and Survivor Series is coming up, and so Chad Gable says now is the moment. Now is his moment, and that is why he's officially announcing he will be activating his world title clause. He says he will be walking into Survivor Series, he will hand the NXT North American title to William Regal, he will vacate it officially, and he will get his shot at the NXT title, and he will defeat Karrion Kross no matter what it takes. Crowd going crazy, they're loving this. Chad Gable getting another shot at Karrion Kross, Chad Gable getting another shot at that NXT title for an 83, when Chad Gable was interrupted by NXT's breakout star, the fabulous Fredrick Fairchild, who makes his way out to the ring with his breakout contract in hand, and he takes the crowds cheering for Chad, and he says he thanks them. He says he's been celebrating all week. He knows the people have been talking about the fabulous Fredrick Fairchild and what he is going to do. And he says there's no point in wasting time when the inevitable is so close. And that is why he is announcing that tonight he is handing in his contract. And tonight, he will be facing Chad Gable for the NXT North American title. Now, he knows what you're thinking. Why doesn't he just cash in on Cross and beat Cross straight up? And he says, what would be the fun in that? Why win one title in WWE when I can win two in the space of a month? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm cashing in my breakout tournament contract. I'm going to beat Chad Gable, win the NXT title, go to Survivor Series, activate the world title clause, fight Karrion Kross, beat Karrion Kross, and win the NXT title. And just like that, within the space of 5 weeks, Fredrick Fairchild would have won the breakout tournament, the North American title, and the NXT title, and everyone will be able to bathe in the fabulousness that is Fairchild as their champion of NXT, as NXT's conqueror. For an 88 here, Chad Gable, always up for a fight, ready for it. So main event later tonight, Chad Gable, Fredrick Fairchild for the NXT North American Championship. A big match announcement there to kick things off. We then go backstage, Raquel Gonzalez, NXT Women's title in line. She's happy, she's bouncing, she bumps into Tegan Nox though. The two have a little verbal altercation and in the end coming to blows between the NXT Women's Champion and the former NXT Women's Champion Tegan Nox for 79 here. And it is announced the two will be taking each other on later tonight. Gonzalez Nox, a big match announcement there for this post-Extreme Rules episode of NXT. And we then also show Cora Jade being interviewed. Cora Jade made her debut last week, got a big win over Mickie James. She's very happy. She's ecstatic to not only be in WWE, to get in the ring with someone like Mickie James, but to beat her like that in her debut. It was incredible. Before Jade has much else to say, she's attacked by Mickie James. Mickie James not happy with the loss to the youngster, to the inexperienced. Mickie James screaming at her, kicking her, punching her while she's down. Candice LeRae storming in to break things up. Mickie James getting out of there before LeRae can attack her. LeRae checking on Jade, and it's announced later it will be Mickie James versus Candice LeRae as well. So two big women's match announced for later tonight for a 44 here. Good little segment from these two. As next up we do have one of those matches. It's Raquel Gonzalez taking on Tegan Nox one-on-one here. And in the end, Raquel Gonzalez picking up the victory by way of disqualification after Becky Lynch, who, remember, drafted to Raw earlier tonight, but still wanting her hands on Raquel Gonzalez, storming out, attacking Gonzalez. Gonzalez getting the win by DQ as Becky beats her down. 77 for the match. Good match between Gonzalez and Nox. 69 from Gonzalez, 70 from Tegan Nox. After the match, Tegan Nox confronting Becky Lynch like, what the hell? Becky Lynch focusing on Gonzalez, accidentally hitting Nox. Nox attacking Lynch now. Gonzalez getting involved, all three women brawling out before eventually being separated by security. But it's all out warfare between the NXT Women's Champion Raquel Gonzalez and the former champion Becky Lynch, and the woman Becky Lynch feet for the belt Tegan Nox here. The NXT Women's title scene heating up even more somehow following that Extreme Rules battle between Lynch and Gonzalez. And 83 for the post here. Brilliant work from these three. As next up we do have Candice LeRae taking on Mickie James one-on-one, and Mickie James picks up the win using some underhanded tactics, rolling up Mickie James, putting her feet on the rope, the referee not seeing Mickie James picking up the victory here over Candice LeRae, and then attacking her after the match as well. A little taunting, a little gloating. Mickie James getting that anger out following her defeat last week to Cora Jade. For a 55, good match between these two. 54 from LeRae, 46 from James. Happy with this, good little segment. NXT getting off to a good start here, I'd say. And then following that, out comes Legado, the Cruiserweight Champion Andrade, the Cruiserweight Tag Team Champions Humberto Carrillo and Santos Escobar, and Zelina Vega, of course. And they make their way out to the ring and they brag about their complete Cruiserweight domination. Legado, Carrillo and Escobar defeating the Mysterios last week to keep their titles. Andrade defeating Aleister Black at Extreme Rules to retain the Cruiserweight title. They say not a single cruiserweight on this planet can go toe-to-toe with Legado, and that's because Legado are well and truly the best athletes in the world. For an 84 here, when they are interrupted by MSK, the new tag team on the block. Had a few matches here in NXT, making their way out. Carter and Lee. Legado not impressed, saying that, you know what, MSK, you want to show such disrespect, we'll teach you a lesson in respect. We'll do this right now for a 77. So next up is Legado, Carrillo and Escobar taking on Carter and Lee, taking on MSK. And MSK with a shock victory here over the Cruiserweight Tag Team Champions. Wesley rolling up Humberto Carrillo out of nowhere to pick up the win. MSK, a massive victory here over the champs for a 67. Good match. 67 Carrillo, 66 Escobar, 48 for Carter and Lee. And a huge win here for MSK. Legado can't believe it. Andrade trying to attack MSK after match. MSK getting out of there following that big win, and Legado are shocked, they're surprised, they're confused, but most importantly, they are fuming with what has just transpired. We then have the entrance of the Velveteen Dream and Isaiah Swerve Scott. Dream distracting Aleister Black at Extreme Rules, and Scott attacking him from behind, costing Aleister Black that Cruiserweight title match against Andrade, and they make their way down to the ring, the crowd booing both of them, and Velveteen Dream bragging about taking Aleister Black, saying that Aleister Black is not on the Dream's level, and he'll never be on the Dream's level. And to see him in a position like that, a title match at a pay-per-view, it made the Dream feel sick, so the Dream had to get involved. And all Aleister Black could do was focus on the Dream. The title right there, right in front of him, all he could do is focus on the Dream, because he knows the Dream is better than him. And then he talks about Scott, saying that Scott came to him, Scott wanted some mentorship, Scott wanted some spot in the Dream spotlight, and the Dream, the kind man he is, he graciously allowed Isaiah to join him in his spotlight, and Isaiah did an amazing job with teaching Aleister Black a lesson. But now the Dream can move on from Aleister, and he can focus on bigger things. For example, he hears the North American title will be open soon, and well, we all know how good the North American title looks around the Dream's waist now, don't we, for a 90, when the Velveteen Dream is interrupted by breakout tournament finalist Bronson Reed, and Bronson Reed not happy. He's not happy with the Dream and Scott's underhanded tactics, their cheating, their interference, and he says that if the Dream wants to mess with someone, he can mess with him for an 87 here. Next up, we do have this match, Bronson Reed taking on the Velveteen Dream one-on-one. And the Velveteen Dream picking up the win here. Isaiah Swerve Scott providing a distraction, and Velveteen Dream hitting a big super kick to the back of Bronson Reed's neck, multiple of them to take him down, and hitting that purple Rainmaker from the top rope for the pinfall. Velveteen Dream getting the win for a 78. Good match, 75 from Dream, 62 from Bronson Reed. Velveteen Dream very happy with his handiwork. Him and Isaiah Swerve Scott in the ring after the match. Dream gets his arm raised. When the lights go out and when they come back on, Aleister Black is there, and he hits a black mass onto Swerve to take him down. And Velveteen Dream, he's already got out the ring. He's hightailed it up the ramp as Aleister Black looks on. He sits cross-legged next to the fallen Swerve, and he just stares down the Velveteen Dream. Aleister Black moving over to Raw in the draft, but still focus on the Velveteen Dream here, it would seem, for an 86. Good work from these as we head into the main event for the NXT North American Championship. Chad Gable defending his newly won gold against the fabulous Fredrick Fairchild, the NXT Breakout Tournament winner, one-on-one here. Who will get the victory in the end? It's Chad Gable. After a really good match between the pair, Chad Gable managing to lock Fredrick Fairchild into the ankle lock, and Fairchild no choice but to tap out as Chad Gable gets the win and retains his NXT North American Championship for an 82. Really good match between the pair. Fredrick Fairchild, his first main event, a really good performance against a really strong superstar in Chad Gable. 88 from Gable, amazing work from as usual. 65 from Fairchild, holding his own. And it is Chad Gable who gets the win and retains his NXT North American title. The ref handing it to him after the match. He gets his arm raised when the music of Karrion Kross hits, and the NXT champion slowly makes his way out to the ring. And Chad Gable and Karrion Kross stare down. Chad Gable, neither man's eyes leaving the other. These two, they've fought before. They've been in each other's space for quite a while now with Chad Gable's association with Randy Orton. But now they will get this chance once again to go head to head with the NXT Championship on the line. An 84 for this post-match stare down. A really good episode of NXT, I'd say. Overall, getting a rating of 85. Amazing work. Great matches all round, I'd say. Especially that main event for that 82 between Gable and Fairchild, and Chad Gable and Karrion Kross. The match official. The match is on, and I cannot wait for it. As the fallout from Extreme Rules has been really good from Raw NXT, and hopefully we can get some good ratings with the fallout from Halloween Havoc next up with Smackdown. And Smackdown starts here with the conclusion of the WWE Draft with round 3, NXT with their first pick selecting Nikki Cross, who will be moving over from SmackDown. Nikki Cross, of course, currently in a tag team with Alexa Bliss, and they will be well and truly separated because with Raw's pick, they select Alexa Bliss going to Raw, Nikki Cross going to NXT. The group splitting up here in very sad scenes, but both very talented. I'm sure both will do very well on their new respective brands. And then SmackDown selecting NXT Breakout Tournament finalists Bronson Reed. A big move for Bronson Reed. Hasn't been in NXT long, but he'll be moving to Friday nights. He did very well in the breakout tournament. I'm sure he'll be looking to continue the momentum he built in that. He didn't win it, but the momentum he built over on his new brand. Then next up, NXT selecting Austin Theory. Austin Theory hasn't been on SmackDown long, remember. Was in the bragging rights team. Did pick up an elimination for SmackDown as well in their match. So I'm sure he'll be looking to do some big things over on the Black and Gold brand. And that's followed by Raw selecting Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano had a very good year. Former SmackDown Tag Team Champion, of course. He's done very well. He's been putting on great match after great match, as you'd expect from Johnny Gargano. And he will be taking that incredible wrestling ability over to Monday nights, and with the final pick of the WWE Draft, SmackDown select Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes coming over from NXT onto SmackDown. He hasn't had that much luck on NXT. He'll be looking to turn his favour here on Friday nights. It's a 90 for this segment. Brilliant segment here from everyone involved as the WWE Draft does conclude for this year. A lot of big moves, a lot of revitalisation in a lot of different areas for each brand that I think they needed. And I have high hopes for all of these superstars on their new shows. But we're into things on SmackDown here, and out come the Usos. The Usos on their own, and they talk about Extreme. They talk about how The Rock cheated against Jacob O, just like he did against Roman Reigns to win. And how disgusted they are, how Jacob O's not here, but they're here. Just like they were there at Extreme Rules, they went for The Rock. The Rock cheap attacking them, taking them out. They say The Rock want to go, then the Usos are ready to go anytime, any place for an 83 when they are interrupted by the New Day, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and of course Universal Champion Big E. And the Big E taunt the Usos. They taunt them about beating the Bloodline in the 6-man tag team match last week. They talked to them about Jacob Fatu losing to The Rock. They taunt the Usos about how the Bloodline, all the Bloodline seem to do is lose. Roman loses, Jacob loses, Jimmy J all losers, whilst the New Day keep on rising for an 86. The Usos and New Day getting face to face in the ring when out come the SmackDown Tag Team Champions Spanish Fly, Socrates Torres and Alfonso Bourbon. And they say they're not here for these squads, they're here to provide warning from the New Day. They say that Spanish Fly, as everyone now knows, are the hottest, and they emphasise hottest acquisition by the Bullard brand. The SmackDown Tag Team Champions are part of the brand now, and they say that they have a warning from Thaddeus Bullard that he is coming, just like he's promised for so long. He is coming for that Universal title at Survivor Series. He's going to take it from Big E. And so Big E, he can worry about the Usos and the Bloodline and the Fiend and whatever he wants, but all at the end of the day, everybody knows that there is an official timeline ticking down right now for Big E and his Universal title reign for an 81. And that is the point where Paige comes out. She's had enough of this arguing. She's had enough of the back and forth. She announces tonight in the main event, it will be a 2v2v2 triple threat tag team match. The Usos versus the New Day versus Spanish Fly. A huge main event announced by Paige for an 83 here to end this segment. Very good work from all involved, I'd say, segment rating wise. And hopefully a very good main event to come later tonight. But first, announcement is made for $1 million championship and intercontinental championship qualifying matches, with Baszler and Thaddeus Bullard both making their intentions to cash in those clauses in the title to get world title opportunities. Very clear, we need new champions, and so matches are announced. Asuka versus Liv Morgan will be happening next up in $1 million title qualifier. Deonna Purrazzo, another of the newest SmackDown superstars, will be getting a qualifier next week, and then we also have qualifiers featuring in the Intercontinental picture featuring Cruz, Corbin, Rude, Swan, and even Johnny Gargano, looking to make an impact as before he leaves the blue brand for a 79. Strong work from these guys before we head into that first $1 million championship qualifying match. It is Asuka taking on Liv Morgan here, and Asuka picking up the win in the end with a big spin kick, taking out Morgan, advancing into the $1 million title match for an 81 here. Really good match from these two. Asuka with an 81. Asuka good as ever. Liv Morgan with a 60, very solid work from her. Very impressed with Liv Morgan. But it's Asuka who picks up the win here, and Asuka who takes a step towards championship gold on her first night on Friday Night Smackdown. Then a promo plays advertising another of SmackDown's newest superstars, Keith Lee, the former NXT North American champion, lost it at Survivor Series, moving to SmackDown now, and he is ready. It's hyping up the Limitless One, ready for everyone to bask in his glory and show everyone on this bigger stage of Friday Night SmackDown what Keith Lee can do and why Keith Lee belongs here for a 91 here. Really, really good promo work from Keith Lee, as to be expected. I have very big hopes for him on SmackDown. Next up, we have an Intercontinental qualifier match. It is Apollo Crews taking on Austin Theory. Apollo Crews, no time for it. After the attack from Finn Balor at Halloween Havoc, he is angry. He just wants to hurt someone. Austin Theory, meanwhile, hasn't been seen since Pragmatics. He comes out, he's happy. He looks maybe even a little bit drunk, but he's having a great time. He's been celebrating getting an elimination, getting a pinfall for SmackDown all weekend long, and he sees that tonight could be one of his final nights on SmackDown. He wants to make it count for him moves to NXT. He wants to advance in this tournament against Apollo Crews. But sadly, he could not. Apollo Crews getting a lot of anger out on Austin Theory. Austin Theory gives it a go, but Crews getting the win with that spin-out powerbomb in the end for a 79 as Apollo Crews advances into the Intercontinental title match. I'm sure Thaddeus Bullard loves this. He loves the idea of him giving up the Intercontinental title, winning the Universal title, and then the Intercontinental title going to fellow Bullard brand member Apollo Crews for a 79 here, though. The match, 72 from Crews, 63 Theory. Both men doing really well. Good match, and it's Apollo Crews advancing further into the Intercontinental title picture. We then go backstage, and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, they're sad. They're a bit distraught. You know, the tag team breaking up their final night together, but Alexa Bliss says she's spoken to Paige, and on their final night together, they're getting a tag team title opportunity. One more match together, one more chance to get that gold against the Bloodline for a 74. Bliss and Cross wanting to make their final night count and end it with a tag team title victory. Well, next up, we have another Intercontinental title qualifying match. It's Johnny Gargano taking on Ace Austin. They've had matches in the past, Ace Austin and Gargano, and they've been really good matches. Austin, another new superstar on SmackDown, hasn't been around long, looking to push himself forward, propel himself into a title picture, as Johnny Gargano looks to propel himself into a title picture on his way out of SmackDown. It's Gargano versus Austin here, and Johnny Gargano picking up the win for a 77 with the Hertz Donut, and a big good win for Gargano, advancing into that Intercontinental title match. 87 for Gargano, 60 for Austin. Really happy with this. And so far, Apollo Crews and Johnny Gargano have found their places in the Intercontinental title match. And I mean, you could probably just leave it at that, and you'd get at least 4.5 stars. There will be more superstars, but still, Crews and Gargano are a very, very good place to start for that match. We then have a promo from Women's Universal Champion Rhea Ripley talking about Shayna Baszler, happily accepting Baszler's challenge, saying she wants a fight, she wants a war, she wants brutality, saying that the last time she got in a ring with Shayna Baszler for a women's title, Rhea Ripley came out victorious, and it'll be exactly the same thing at Survivor Series. If Shayna wants to go anytime, any place, Rhea Ripley is ready, and she can't wait for this match for an 87. I can't wait either. Ripley Baszler, big match. Hopefully it should do really, really well at the pay-per-view. Before we head into the women's tag title match, as announced earlier, the Bloodline, Naomi and Nia Jax, taking on Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, Bliss Cross, Applesauce, in their final match together before being drafted apart. And sadly, they come up short. It's the Bloodline picking up the victory here. Naomi pinning Nikki Cross following that split-leg moonsault. The Bloodline retaining the women's tag team titles for a 72 here. 68 from Naomi, 62 Bliss, 58 for Jax and Cross as well. Bliss Cross Applesauce coming up short after the match. They embrace, the crowd cheering. It's a sad moment. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross being split up here for a 70. But moving forward in their career as single superstars, I'm sure they both have big dreams, big ambitions, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for Bliss on Raw and Nikki Cross over on NXT. Before we head into the earlier mentioned big tag team main event, 2v2v2, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions Spanish Fly taking on New Day members Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods and the Usos in a triple threat tag team match. A big match comes down to it in the end after everyone gives it their all. New Day and Usos going at it as they've done so many times before. When the music of The Rock hits, and The Rock doesn't come out, but it provides enough of a distraction for Xavier Woods and Kofi to hit that diving stomp backbreaker combo and pick up the win. The New Day getting the victory here in the main event for an 81. Really good match. 80 from Jey Uso, 78 for Kingston and Jimmy Uso, 73 Socrates Torres, 63 Woods, 43 Bourbon. Really happy with this. Good main event to SmackDown here. New Day picking up the victory. Usos rolling out the win. New Day, all three members in the ring celebrating. Spanish Fly up the ramp. Not happy when the music of Thaddeus Bullard hits. And Thaddeus Bullard walks out. Paul Heyman by his side with the Intercontinental title. And Bullard gets Spanish Fly up and all four men walk to the ring. And then there's a stare down. Spanish Fly staring down with Kofi and Xavier. And then in the middle, Big E and Thaddeus Bullard staring down. And Thaddeus Bullard says to Big E, he's going to take the Universal title from him. He says he's going to go to Survivor Series and he's going to walk out with that gold, so Big E should cherish it. Big E should hold it close, because come Survivor Series in 3 weeks, the title will be coming to the Bullard brand for an 86 here. The show ending with that big stare down between the New Day and the Bullard brand. A good episode of SmackDown here, I'd say. Overall, getting an 85, another 85. Really good week. 90 from Raw, 85s from NXT and SmackDown. Really happy with this. The fallout from Extreme Rules and Halloween Havoc has been just as good as the build-up to it was, which is a really good sign. A really good week here with the WWE Draft as well, and a lot of pieces moving as we head towards Survivor Series, the final big pay-per-view of the year, really. If you've enjoyed this episode, I hope you have. It's been a good episode and are looking forward to what happens next in the build-up to Survivor Series and beyond. Then please like and subscribe for more, and thank you for watching.